good to go whenever
Okay,
you are.
great. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Sacred Way. We're doing a little bit of a different format today. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm your host, Sherrie Locke, and I have two guests today. I have Tate Hackney and I have Beverly Beal. And we're actually going to do an episode that I'm going to call Girl Talk Radio. So today's going to be really interesting. Actually, the three of us have done and do energy work together in different capacities, and so we have all worked together at certain times. We've all worked on each other, and we have also done work for each other's families, areas, all these types of things. And when I say areas, I'm literally talking about space clearing and houses. Now, Beverly's been on the show before, and she was one of my very first episodes that we did, and that show was on the Bagua, the Tibetan Bagua, actually. And Beverly is the owner, director, and founder of the Intuitive Interior, and she does all kinds of incredible work and is also completed, I don't know whether we would call this initiate, that would kind of be in my lingo, or whether that would be that you have graduated these courses or whatever. But Beverly actually was involved with another dear friend of ours, Mark Youngblood, who runs the Institute for Subtle Energy Education Global, and he does a course called Inner Mastery. And so Beverly and Mark have worked together, I guess, for several years now, huh?
Yeah, about 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
Time kind of compresses. I don't really remember
Uh-huh.
a lot about what was before.
Yeah.
And so what's come after has just been so dramatic.
So I'd love to hear a little bit about your story when you started really coming online with doing the energy work. Did that occur with doing the work with Mark Youngblood?
Absolutely. I had been a feng shui consultant for, I think, about 3 years prior to connecting with or finding Mark through another mutual friend.
Mm-hmm.
And there had been times when I would go to a person's home and I would get just literally just smacked with the energy of either the actual place or a memory that was stored by a particular spot in the house, or if I were to connect with a piece of furniture to kind of get a little bit of a story of what was going on there. There were times when I would feel like one time in particular, before I knew how to clear all this out, I had connected with a client's dresser, and immediately felt this sharp stabbing pain in my abdomen. And I just had to leave and go downstairs for a little while. And I said, okay, I don't know what happened in that room, but either somebody died in childbirth, or there was something that somebody got lost a baby. I don't know what happened. And she looked at me and just gasped and proceeded to tell me the story of her grandmother who had lost a premature infant, and they had laid the infant to rest for the viewing in the dresser.
Wow.
And I was literally wiped out, though, for several days afterwards, because I had no clue how to remove that kind of energy that was stuck in me. And so when I was able to, got introduced finally to Mark's work, it was just like somebody opened the door. It was almost as if I had been living in a smoke-filled room with no windows, and suddenly somebody opened up the door, and I remembered that's blue sky. That's fresh air. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It was
totally.
fabulous. And so I just immediately began taking the classes and really getting involved with just learning how to fully ground myself, how to clear the old energy patterns out, how to break myself out of that loop of constantly attracting what I didn't want. And so after I went through my first training, my first Inner Mastery, which is a 4-month-long commitment. It is a 3-weekend-a-month process for 4 months in a row. I knew immediately, though, I wanted to be a trainer, because I felt like that was my calling. And it works so well when I'm working with my clients, because not only am I able to help them with the external manifestation of their stuff,
Right.
now I know how to help with the internal clutter.
Exactly.
And how to
And that's
feng shui
why I
their
love so much working with Beverly. I'm telling you, it's awesome. And I'd like to interject here too that Tate also knows Mark Youngblood. And also, we've done quite a lot of work, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit more in the conversation if you would like, if we can share
absolutely.
that,
Yeah.
about work that was actually done on a house that Tate previously owned. And Beverly came in and checked out the area and did the space clearing, and it's really an interesting story. Right now, I'd like to get back to what you're talking about with Mark and all this and this journey. So how did it then start hitting you when you started opening up the gates to all this realization? Wow.
Well, I found that I had just had to let my inner critic go.
Right.
Because I would see things, feel things, hear things, whether it was outside or just in my head. And so instead of questioning everything that was showing up for me, I just would acknowledge it and say, oh, okay, that's interesting, and just leave the judgment out of it. The first couple of times, though, that I had some really big clearings, I really wasn't sure about how the whole process was working, and I was such a skeptic. And so my first class,
No.
yeah, my first class I did was called Energy Hygiene. And it was just a simple little class where you actually got to first feel your energy body. Well, you know, I'd been through a couple of feng shui training sessions already, so I knew about energy. I knew how it flowed. I knew how to even find my own energy field. It wasn't until I went through the class that I was able to visualize the actual clearing process, when I could actually in my head see me clearer.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I thought, okay, that's interesting. That's very, very cool. But changing processes, I mean, changing belief systems and patterns, okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that you can, you know, I'll believe it when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need some pretty good proof
Right.
that this is happening.
Absolutely.
And so when people experience a energy shift,
Mm-hmm.
it often manifests in many different ways. Physical, you know, physically people will flush, or they'll get pimples, bumbles.
Yeah.
Or you know, some people will feel the hair on the back of their neck, you know, prickle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
In my situation, I apparently decided, my higher self decided that burping was the way to go. So, yeah, we were just joking earlier.
We
about
were. I suggested that there be a book or a movie that comes out called Beverly Burps. And every time Beverly burps, the universe suddenly lightens up even more. You know, it's kind of like, wow, could you do that again?
Yeah, so it kind of freaked my husband out at first, because he's not necessarily, I mean, he does a great job of just, you know, watching me and supporting me and everything, but as far as really, I mean, he's still super skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been funny watching
Oh,
that
I
whole
bet.
thing go. He's just, when I start burping about something, he just kind of looks at me and it's like, you okay? You're gonna be
Yeah.
okay.
It's a good burp. It's like a good laugh. She's
Yeah.
got a
It
good
is.
burp. So
It's a
if
good
you're gonna
one.
burp, I would want that burp.
Absolutely.
So-
Yeah.
Totally.
So, I'm not sure, I guess, where you want me to go with this, but I guess for me, the process of going from knowing that there was more, that there was a
Mhm.
next step, and then finding that place where you could walk to step 2,
Mm-hmm.
it was huge. It was literally the difference between feeling crazy
Yeah.
and sanity.
Right.
I mean, it's the thing I liken to it is when you wake up, but you're in that state where you're not asleep anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't quite open your eyes, but you know that you're not, you're slightly aware.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so being able to open your eyes
Mm-hmm.
was magical.
Absolutely. It's a before and after event.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.